You can walk every single day, hit your step goal, eat less than before, and still not lose belly fat, especially after 50. And that's exactly where most people get stuck. It feels like your body has simply stopped responding. But here's the truth. Your body hasn't stopped working. What has changed is the way it decides which fuel to burn. There is a specific window in the morning, right after you wake up, when your body is far more likely to pull energy from stored fat. Use that window the right way, and your walk becomes a fat-burning tool. Miss it, and that same walk will mostly burn whatever you last ate. In today's video, I'm Dr. Ryan Mitchell, and I'll walk you through exactly what's happening inside your body, why timing matters, how long to walk, how hard to push, whether it's safe to walk on an empty stomach, and the one common morning habit that quietly cancels all your effort. 1. Why does belly fat become stubborn after 50? After the age of 50, your body goes through a series of gradual but significant changes that directly affect how fat is stored and how it's lost. One of the most important changes is the steady loss of muscle mass, a condition known as sarcopenia. Studies have shown that adults can lose anywhere from 3 to 8% of their muscle mass per decade after age 30. And this process speeds up considerably after 50. Why does that matter? Because muscle is metabolically active tissue. It helps your body burn calories, even when you're sitting still. As muscle decreases, your resting calorie burn drops, making it easier to gain fat and significantly harder to lose it. At the same time, the body often becomes less sensitive to insulin. Research consistently shows that insulin resistance tends to increase with age, particularly in people who are less physically active. When insulin resistance goes up, your body holds on to glucose longer, more of that energy gets stored as fat, and a large portion of that fat ends up settling around the abdomen. This is why so many people notice that after 50, weight tends to collect right around the belly. There's also the role of cortisol, your primary stress hormone. Studies have shown that chronically elevated cortisol levels are closely associated with increased abdominal fat storage. When stress becomes constant, whether from poor sleep, daily pressure, or even over-exercising, your body responds by storing fat around vital organs as a kind of protective measure. So when we talk about belly fat after 50, we're not just talking about calories. We're talking about a combination of reduced muscle, lower insulin sensitivity, and elevated stress signaling. Unless those internal conditions are addressed, fat loss becomes an uphill battle, even when you're putting in the effort. 2. What happens inside your body in the morning? When you wake up, your body is in a very different metabolic state compared to any other time of day. You've typically gone 8 to 12 hours without food. During that time, your body has used up its stored glycogen, its short-term energy supply, maintained essential functions like brain activity and breathing, and allowed insulin levels to drop to a low baseline. This is what's known as the fasted state. In this state, your body has fewer immediate energy sources available from food. As a result, it becomes more inclined to reach for stored energy, including stored fat. Research has shown that fat oxidation, the process of burning fat for fuel, is higher when insulin levels are low. So when you begin walking before eating anything, your body needs energy. It has no recent food to draw from, and it increases its reliance on fat stores. This doesn't mean 100% of your energy comes from fat, but it does shift the balance meaningfully in that direction. If you eat first, insulin rises and your body switches its focus to burning that incoming food instead. That's why timing matters more than most people realize. 3. What research shows about fasted exercise? There has been growing interest in fasted exercise, particularly around its effects on fat metabolism. Research from sports science institutions has consistently shown that fasted exercise can increase fat oxidation during the activity itself and may improve what's called metabolic flexibility over time, your body's ability to switch efficiently between different fuel sources. However, it's important to be clear about what this means and what it doesn't. It does not mean fasted exercise is a magic solution. It means that under the right conditions, your body is more likely to use stored fat during the activity itself. For older adults, especially those who prefer walking over high-intensity training, this becomes a very practical advantage. Walking is sustainable, it's low impact, and when timed correctly, it supports fat use without placing excessive strain on the body. 4. The common morning mistake that blocks results. There is one very common habit among older adults that quietly works against fat loss, and most people don't even realize they're doing it. Before heading out for a walk, many people have something small, coffee with sugar or flavored creamer, a light snack for energy, a glass of juice, or a small breakfast. From a comfort standpoint, this makes complete sense. But metabolically, it changes everything. Even small amounts of carbohydrates can trigger an insulin response. And when insulin rises, the body reduces fat release. It prioritizes burning the incoming nutrients instead. The fat-burning environment is effectively switched off. This is not about being perfect. It's about understanding cause and effect. If your goal is to maximize fat use during your morning walk, keeping your fasted state intact makes a real difference. For most people, this simply means drinking water before walking, having black coffee or plain tea if needed, and avoiding anything that contains sugar or calories. It's a small adjustment, but over weeks and months, it adds up significantly. 5. How long you should walk for real results. Many people underestimate how long it actually takes for the body to shift into a higher fat-burning state during activity. When you first begin walking, your body initially relies on available glucose. It then gradually transitions toward using more fat as the primary fuel source. This transition typically becomes noticeable after about 15 to 20 minutes of continuous movement. That's why most practical recommendations fall in the range of 30 to 45 minutes per session. This duration allows enough time for the metabolic transition to occur, sustains the energy demand long enough to matter, and fits into a routine that most people can actually maintain consistently. 6. Why moderate intensity works best. High-intensity exercise has its place, but it is not always the right choice, especially in a fasted state. When intensity becomes too high, the body increases its output of stress hormones. Cortisol rises more sharply. The body begins relying more heavily on quick energy pathways rather than fat. Research from sports medicine organizations supports the use of moderate intensity activity for sustainable fat metabolism. A simple way to measure your intensity is the talk test. At the right level, you can speak in short sentences. You feel slightly challenged but not overwhelmed. This level of effort uses oxygen efficiently, supports fat utilization, reduces your risk of injury, and, most importantly, is something you can repeat day after day. For long-term results, consistency will always matter more than intensity. 7. Hydration and caffeine, the practical factors. Hydration is one of the most overlooked parts of a morning routine. After a full night of sleep, your body is mildly dehydrated. Even mild dehydration can affect circulation, energy levels, and overall metabolic function. Drinking water before your walk helps your body operate more efficiently from the very first step. As for caffeine, research shows it can increase alertness and enhance the release of fatty acids into the bloodstream, which is why black coffee is commonly used before exercise. But the key point remains: it must be without sugar or added calories. The moment you add sweetener or creamer, you reduce the benefit significantly. 8. What happens over weeks? One of the biggest reasons people stop is unrealistic expectations. Fat loss does not happen in a few days, but it does follow a consistent pattern when the routine is maintained. In weeks 1 and 2, you'll likely notice an improved routine and a slight increase in daily energy. By weeks 3 and 4, many people experience reduced bloating and small but noticeable changes in how their clothes fit. By weeks 6 to 8, there's often a visible reduction around the waistline, along with improved walking endurance. And by weeks 10 to 12, the changes become clearly visible, along with better posture, more confidence, and a stronger sense of control over your health. Long-term lifestyle research consistently shows that steady, moderate activity combined with improved metabolic conditions leads to gradual and sustainable fat reduction. 9. Final takeaway: walking is not simply about movement. It's about when and how your body uses energy. After 50, results depend less on doing more, and more on doing things in the right order. Walking on an empty stomach helps create a low insulin environment, encourages your body to draw from stored energy, and fits naturally into a daily routine without requiring major lifestyle changes. It is not a shortcut, but it is a practical, evidence-aligned strategy that works with how your body actually functions. Not against it. If you're already walking regularly but not seeing results, there's likely another piece missing. Many people make small walking mistakes without realizing it, mistakes that quietly reduce the effectiveness of everything they're doing. In our previous video, Dr. Ryan Mitchell breaks those down clearly and shows exactly how to fix them. Watch that next. It connects directly to what you've just learned here. And before you go, I want to hear from you. What has been your biggest challenge after 50? Losing belly fat, staying consistent, or keeping your energy up? Drop it in the comments below.